to a less hopeful situation where a joint meeting between the University Academic Staff Union, that is UASU, also the Kenya National Union of Teachers, KNUT, and the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPPET, yesterday ended in disarray. The meeting, which was aimed to form a union between KUPPET Chair Omboko Milemba, stormed out after failing to agree with the other delegates. Milemba accused KNUT Secretary General Wilson Sosion of seeking to arm twist UASU leaders to sabotage KUPPET. Now, tonight we want to hear from the two gentlemen and actually find out what is going on. We've got in our studio, in our business studio, we'll be talking to Bonnie Tunya, who will be finding out what really happened at that merger meeting. Over to you, Bonnie.
Who have a lot of love and care for the education in this country. I'm talking about Akelo Misori from KUPPET, who's the Secretary General, and of course Wilson Sosion from KNUT. Gentlemen, before we even look at the details of what happened yesterday, whose idea was it for these three bodies to come together? If you can start with you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. The concept of unity of teachers is not a Kenyan business.
Right.
It's a global agenda. And this has gone on for quite a number of years to the extent that currently the global umbrella teachers union is one,
right,
called Education International,
right,
which was born out of 4 world confederations of teachers back in the early 90s. And in Africa, this agenda has gone on because Africa has been so much divided. And even here in Kenya, it was here in 1957,
right,
when we had many unions,
right,
and they all came together to form one union.
Right.
In Uganda the other day, there were many weak associations, or not even unions, but they came together to form one union. Tanzania, the same thing, South Africa. So really, this is a global agenda of teachers, and this has been driven ably, right, through the global umbrella body of teachers, that is Education International, so that education sector, right, can make strides and ensure that there is delivery of quality education through very strong bargaining strength of a single voice of teachers.
Right. I see Mr. Akelo Misori nodding. So obviously this union is inevitable. One of the major accusations that have been coming out is, well, looking at the numbers and also probably the funding, KNUT comes out as a very strong and dominant force in this thing, and KUPPET has come out saying KNUT wants to dissolve it into this. What say you?
I think what brings us together is not necessarily the concept of swallowing,
right,
but there has been a lot of misrepresentation of facts, of major issues.
Right.
But I think those are neither here nor there. The issue we have is what brings us together is that there is a major deliberate attempt to scuttle down the unity of teachers of this country. But secondly, there are also issues which are related to labor relations and practices, that if we sit on our laurels to watch, we will be swept by the wind. One, the government has strategically used the constitution, especially the created Salaries and Remuneration Commission, right, to deny us the opportunity to articulate our interests, because collective bargaining platform is already watered down. The employer is using this as an excuse to either delay or derail the talks that we usually have in our arrangement.
And thank you for bringing out the issue of CBS, and we'll jump into it in a short while. Yeah. But your chairman walked out of this particular talks yesterday. Do you share with his views, and why exactly what really angered him?
I think the concept of walking out of this meeting should not be an issue for me to address, because right, in that meeting there was no walking out. If somebody excused himself that, excuse me for a meeting, right, I did not consider that one walking out. And I did not realize that there was a walkout, except today in the morning, I did read in the paper that somebody walked out of the meeting. Right. The meeting progressed well, and we stuck to our terms of reference, which was supposed to jumpstart a very fruitful discussion for us. as teachers.
But coming from the gathering that you had just a few days ago under the auspices of the IE, coming from that, this merger seemed like a done deal. And then yesterday, all this. What are these issues that arose from yesterday's meeting that probably you were unforeseen coming from where you are?
I must repeat this, that the issues which were before us for these deliberations yesterday were not issues which were supposed to divide us. We were supposed to look at the terms of reference from the Kampala meeting, and the terms of reference was supposed to only iron out that in this regard, how do we proceed with the unity talks? The issue was unity talks, and I did not see, and it did not emerge from the meeting that my chairman was walking out for the sake of disagreement, because the meeting had not begun. What I later learned is that he did not come back to the meeting. Yes, that is the only thing.
In fact, to support my colleague, our meetings have been very healthy. And you know, the culture of teachers is that the spirit of understanding, sincerity, and professionalism is paramount. We've held these meetings all through from Zambia to Kampala. And yesterday we had our own meeting as the three unions, and with a very clear agenda. And we progressed very well through to the end. Except that if our brother excused himself, of which even my own national chairman was not in the meeting, he was in Arusha, it's normal. That doesn't, in trade unionism, it doesn't mean that absenteeism cannot allow progress of the meeting. But that aside, the perception and whatever it is, we want to lay facts very clearly on the table, that we are totally committed to this process, because what is at stake for the teachers is bigger than dwelling on imagined or real controversies, which at the end of the day...
You've been accused of trying to twist this in your favor. What exactly is there for KNUT or for you as a person to gain in all this?
This is now not about a big union or a small union or anything. This is about education sector. And this is about teachers. And this is dialogue. We have got 6 points of reference, and the 6 points of terms of reference were not created by Social. I'm only a Secretary General of a union which is a participant in the process and which is committed to the process. So we're talking about, I want to allay the fears.
Yes, please.
Of course, challenges are expected. There would be fears of whatever nature, fears of leadership, fears of different sorts. It will emerge across the unions. We cannot say it's restricted to one specific union. They will be there, but they will be addressed. That is why we have got 6 terms of reference to develop the roadmap and also to develop the structures, to engage in dialogue, to package information so that people understand what we are doing. It is dialogue. Nobody is forced. And so therefore, trying to narrow it down to say either it's Sosyon or it's Akelo Misori or it's Muga Kolale or who would be missing the point. Yeah, because we are in a process of dialogue
for a common good.
And this is a committee that has been established, which is far above the very individual unions. The two of us were mere members of the committee. We are neither chairman nor treasurers nor anything, but we are totally committed to the process, because this is an idea whose time has come.
And let me just bring in Mr. Misori. You mentioned earlier on when you alluded to the CBS that there are forces that are meant to scuttle this and disadvantage teachers whenever they come to negotiating. Who are these forces?
One of them is that we have got an employer. The other one is the government who has created that employer. And that one is the first point for us to socialize our members to understand that as we are here, myself and my brother, we belong to the Teacher Service Consultative Committee. We present different proposals for consideration. The employer uses the same as an excuse to delay or derail the process of negotiation. And then there's another element, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, which has now issued fresh guidelines, which goes outside the constitutional provision. So when you look at these two alone, if we don't go to others, because the Treasury also has got an influence in this.
Right.
Unless we develop a common platform to articulate and agitate for our interest, then the teachers of this country are the ones to lose.
Mr. Misori, you talk about a common platform, yes. And recently we've seen a lot of this idea of safety in numbers. We celebrated May Day just less than a month ago. We had KOTU was trying to organize something. Mr. Sosion was in the leadership of Pusetu. Pusetu, from the understanding of many, seemed to be receiving a lot of backing from government, and many of the people watching right now are wondering if our defenders are now dancing to the tune of a government vehicle. Where exactly are we heading? What's the future of these agreements when we have all these disagreements with Pusetu and KOTU and what we're having now?
No, it's not about disagreement. All these are a process, and the labor industry has to adjust itself to a stable equilibrium.
Correct.
And but on this matter, this has got nothing much to do with the business of the labor centers,
right?
Because labor centers bring in,
but they do
so many other unions.
Your CBAs.
No. For ours,
right.
The CBAs, we are in the teaching service,
right?
And rightly has been said by my brother. I and him, we are the key leaders, right, of the negotiations for the benefits of teachers.
So regardless of the affiliations, you can assure Kenyans that yes, when it comes to sitting on the table for the rights of teachers, they will get the money for their time and money.
It is not only even in our unions.
Right.
We can assure Kenyans that this is the beginning of the roadmap of the wider unity in the entire labor sector. Right. We can't be at war as workers.
Right.
And even if we have some few little misunderstandings, we can live with them forever.
Right.
And more especially for this one.
Right.
The art of divide and rule by employers and government has been used to disadvantage workers. And this process of unity talks is born out of a very highly scientific and authentic research that has been carried out by Education International, right, which we have consumed. And for us as the leaders of teachers in this country, it would be very wrong for us to put self-interest ahead of everything else. We would like to give the teachers of this country, right, and university lecturers an opportunity to come together so that we can have a strong bargaining platform for the entire education sector that will even enhance quality in the long run.
Right.
The overall product is an absolute win for the teachers and also an absolute win for quality education in this country.
Going for gentlemen, as we bring this tour up, what do you see as the main, as a direct benefit or a fruit that we can celebrate in the immediate term once you merge in regards to CBAs and in regards to the welfare of teachers in this country?
One thing is we shall have opportunity to influence policy change and implementation. The other aspect is that we
but
will
Mr. Misori, gentlemen, you lead very huge and robust organizations. You already have that. In terms of specifics, what does this new merger bring to the table?
Let us not talk about new merger.
Right.
Let us talk about
union.
New unity.
Let us
yes,
not
unity.
Give it a name.
Right.
Let us talk about new unity.
Right.
It will help to ensure that the confidence that the members have in us will be properly represented.
Yes.
Because we shall have a strong voice to articulate and present.
Right.
We shall also have an opportunity to deliver on our mandates.
Right.
But in the current circumstance, it becomes so difficult because we have seen beacons which threaten that approach.
Right.
And we are saying transformation and change.
This time around, you will get it right.
We have gotten it right.
You've gotten it right already.
And we shall get it
Let me
right.
just bring your closing comments, Mr. Sosion.
Yes, I would like to assure the teachers of this country, right across the board,
right,
that this process is foolproof. There will be no loser.
Right.
It is win-win for all the teachers from kindergarten to the universities. Right. There will be space, and we shall organize ourselves to accommodate everyone and have a role for each and every one of us. It will be a win for this country,
right,
because Our voice shall be single, solid, and strong, and there will be a guarantee. There is nothing that government will do from now henceforth without involving us. This will mark the end of the art of divide and rule. And therefore we are calling upon teachers, all teachers across the board, and the general public to support us. And we're also telling government they shouldn't fear us. The unity of teachers is the beginning of strong unity for the nation of Kenya.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I've been speaking to two gentlemen who care a lot about the education system in this country. I'm speaking to Wilson Sossion, who's the Secretary General of Kenya Union of Teachers, and Mr. Akelo Misori, who is from KUPPET. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much.
Over to you, Nancy.
Right, thank you, Bonnie. Now we go straight to some breaking news. These reports just coming in, and improvised explosive device has gone off in Mombasa, somewhere along Biashara Street. We're hearing reports that there are several casualties, and we're now going straight to Ferdinand Omondi, who is live in Mombasa, to get some more details about this. Now, Ferdinand, what exactly is the situation in Mombasa? What just happened?
Good evening, Nancy. The situation, the information is still not yet official, but what I've gathered from eyewitnesses and the people who came here, a few minutes ago, there was a blast somewhere off Biashara Street. Now, what I've been able to gather is that there were some two suspects who are apparently in custody of the police. One had been handcuffed already, and they were taken to police station, and then they tried to resist arrest. So what I hear is that somehow either one of them was trying to rescue the person, or one of the suspects dropped what appears to be a grenade, because what we are seeing on the road is the safety catch of the grenade. And what I understand is one policeman was injured in the process, one was the arresting officer, and that one of the suspects actually escaped with the handcuffs. So what I do know so far right now is that a policeman has been injured in the blast, but that is all that I know. We are expecting an official communication from the county Commissioner Nelson Mara, who has just arrived and is getting information. But what I do know, yes, a grenade has been thrown and one policeman is injured.
Right. There were also reports on social media about gunshots being heard. Can you confirm that? Anything from your eyewitnesses on that?
Yes, in the process of the arrest, actually our provincial news editor was among the first on the ground, said he personally, that's David Ochami, he says he personally had 3 blasts, and he says that one might have been the grenade and the other 2 could have been gunshots. So it has not been confirmed. We're not seeing any cartridges here, but yes, about 3 blasts were heard. So it may not have necessarily been a shooter. Oh yeah, there were gunshots. I have just seen one car right here, which has several bullet holes. So yes, there were gunshots.
Okay.
On several cars, and I can see also another Nissan Matatu here with the bullet holes that have run through the glass. So yes, there were gunshots.
All right. Well, thank you, Ferdinand, for speaking to us, and do keep us updated as we go along. That was Ferdinand Omondi in Mombasa. As we just told you, some breaking news from there. An improvised explosive device did just go off along Biashara Street, actually at a market, near a market in Mombasa. Several casualties are being reported, and as Ferdinand Omondi just told us, he could also see that there were some gunshots, and this was also going on social media. He has confirmed that definitely there were some gunshots. He's actually seen some cars riddled with bullet holes. We'll definitely keep you updated as we go along with that. Let's now remind you of our big Q.